Thousands of mourners gathered today in the Iranian city of Tabriz, the largest city in the mountainous northwestern region, where the chopper carrying President Ebrahim Raisi crashed. The bodies of the victims were later taken to the holy Shiite city of Qom, where many of the clerics who make up Iran's theocratic elite are trained before heading to the capital, Tehran. Large ceremonies have been planned in Tehran's enormous Grand Mosalla Mosque for tomorrow. Raisi's body will then be moved to the historic Imam Reza Shrine in Mashhad, his hometown, where Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei will conduct prayers. Investigators are currently looking at how the helicopter carrying the president, the foreign minister and others crashed in a mountainous terrain, even as the other two choppers flying with them landed safely. While so many senior Iranian government officials were traveling in a single decades-old helicopter is one of the many questions being asked. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un offered his condolences, remembering Raisi as a friend. Chinese President Xi Jinping, whose government last year played a role in brokering a landmark rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia, hailed Raisi's important contributions to maintaining Iran's security, stability and promoting national development and prosperity. He too referred to the late Iranian president as a friend to the Chinese people. Russian President Vladimir Putin, who the US believes has been receiving support from Iran for his war in Ukraine, called the Iranian leader an outstanding politician and a true friend of Russia. Many observers have pointed to a growing divergence of interest between Iran, China, North Korea and Russia in recent times over their shared animosity towards the global order seen as being dominated by the United States. But Raisi was a highly polarizing figure with a deeply controversial legacy. He brutally quashed a youth-led uprising over repressive laws such as the compulsory hijab. He was known as the Butcher of Tehran for presiding over the executions of thousands of political prisoners for their political and religious beliefs in what came to be known as the 1988 massacre. Raisi, the ultra-conservative cleric, was once seen as a potential successor to his mentor, the current Supreme Leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Raisi's death has left the Islamic Republic's hardline establishment facing an uncertain future as it navigates growing regional tensions and simmering domestic discontent. Iran is currently reeling under a major economic crisis thanks to crippling American sanctions, unrest over quashing of civil liberties, and rising tensions with Israel in the Middle East and beyond. For now, power has been transferred to Mohammad Mukhbir, who had served as Raisi's vice president. He's been approved as acting president by the Supreme Leader, the final arbiter of domestic and foreign affairs in the Islamic Republic. Mukhbir is said to be close to the IRGC and the other levers of power. Fresh elections will be held within 50 days and the next Iranian president will be elected on the 28th of June. Many say the elections are likely to be hastily organized with poor voter participation. In March this year, during its parliamentary elections, Iran recorded its lowest electoral turnout since the Islamic Republic's founding in 1979. The election for seats in the parliament known as the Majlis, or the 88-member Assembly of Experts, which is tasked with picking the Supreme Leader, brought in mostly hardline politicians. The more moderate politicians had been barred from running, including former President Hassan Rouhani, tightening the small circle of hardliners to continue the Supreme Leader's conservative rule after he dies. Until the Supreme Leader is replaced, little change is expected, particularly with regard to Iran's foreign policy. It is the Supreme Leader and the Revolutionary Guards who make the final decisions. Therefore, analysts expect to see more continuity than change following Raisi's death. However, what Raisi's death has done is to raise questions about who will eventually succeed Iran's 85-year-old Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the most powerful man in the country. The Iranian clerical establishment had invested heavily in Raisi during his presidency, seeing him as a potential successor to Khamenei. He had been groomed to be elevated to be the supreme leader eventually. Analysts say Raisi's death will create a succession crisis in Iran as far as the supreme leader is concerned. The late president upheld some of the regime's most hardline policies, quashing the 2022 mass protests that sought to challenge repressive laws such as the compulsory hijab. Now, according to the Iranian constitution, the 88-member Assembly of Experts picks the successor to the supreme leader after his death. Members of the assembly itself are pre-vetted by Iran's Guardian Council, a powerful 12-member body charged with overseeing elections and legislation. The Assembly of Experts has become increasingly hardline over the years. In the March vote, Raisi was re-elected to the assembly, and the Guardian Council barred his predecessor Rouhani from contesting. While there are procedures for selecting the supreme leader, discussions about successions are always very opaque and take place within a very close circle of individuals. Some say the incumbent supreme leader's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, a mid-level cleric, is a potential contender for the top post, but that would be a shift from the principles of the Islamic Republic, which overthrew a repressive monarchy in 1970 and has prided itself for shaking off hereditary rule. Allowing Mojtaba to replace his father may even spur theories that Raisi's death was not accidental. Though replacing Raisi as the president should be less complicated, as Iran has no dearth of political actors who are subservient and belong to the old guard of the Islamic Republic. The vacuum created by Raisi's death could, however, trigger a power struggle between the hardline factions in Iran over who will replace the aged Ayatollah. Amid concerns about Khamenei's health, the question about his replacement gains more significance. As we said, Iran's supreme leader is the ultimate power center in the country, acting as commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The leader appoints the heads of all military branches as well as the head of the judiciary. The occupant of the post also controls Iran's intelligence and security operations and has the power to declare war or peace. The supreme leader has the final say in deciding the policies of the country and dealing with the outside world. The leader also makes several key appointments in the country, including the chief commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Iran has had only two supreme leaders since the birth of the Islamic Republic. After Khomeini died in 1989, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei took over the high-profile post. He has maintained a tight grip on Iran's politics and foreign affairs, taken a hardline stance against the West, especially the United States, and often even called for the elimination of the State of Israel. Iran's constitution states that the supreme leader has to be an Ayatollah, that means a senior Shia religious figure. Ayatollah Khamenei is believed to be against his son Mojtaba's candidature, as he does not want to promote hereditary leadership. And his objection to hereditary rule would also eliminate the candidacy of the grandson of the Islamic Republic's founder Ali Khamenei, who is currently in Najaf in Iraq. The other name doing the rounds is Alreza Arafi, who is currently vying for the role of the chairman of the Assembly of Experts, which will appoint the new supreme leader after Khamenei's death. But experts say after Khamenei has indicated that he preferred somebody else, the only name in the someone else category actually till Sunday was Raisi. Now there is no name in that category. Some believe prominent actors like Revolutionary Guards and influential clerics and Qom, an important center for religious studies, are now likely to ramp up efforts to shape the process by which the next supreme leader is picked.